1885, King Leopold of Belgium dispatched Henry Morton Stanley to the Congo region to form treaties with locals to give himself power. He later took over the Congo and named it the Congo Free State. He brutalized the region, and eventually the Belgian government took power over the Congo Free State and renamed it the Belgian Congo. In 1960, the Belgians granted the Congo their independence. 6 months after independence, elected Prime Minister Lumumba was ousted by army leader Joseph Mobutu. Shortly after, he renamed the country Zaire. In 1994, the Hutu majority in neighboring Rwanda fled to Zaire after carrying out a terrifyingly efficient genocide against the country's ethnic Tutsi minority. Shortly after, the Tutsi rebels came to Zaire, and rebel leader Laurent Kabila came to power and renamed Zaire to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Laurent Kabila was then killed by his bodyguards, and his son Joseph then came to power.
During the time that King Leopold owned Congo Free State, he enslaved the Congolese and involved them in unfair export. He was able to use those treaties signed by the local chiefs to his advantage and exported massive amounts of rubber and ivory. However, nothing was being imported to the country, so it was not trade, even though that was the impression that the Europeans were under. It was not until E.D. Morel brought these injustices to life in the first few years of the 1900s that the Europeans took notice. Once they read his published articles regarding the Congo, the Belgian government reclaimed Congo Free State and renamed it Belgian Congo.
1960 was an important year for the Republic of Congo. It was the year it gained independence from Belgium. Patrice Lumumba, leader of the Congolese national movement, won the first national election, but within months he was replaced by the powerful army leader Joseph Désiré Mobutu, shown above. Mobutu ruled for an incredible length of 32 years and did many things that had lasting effects. He changed the name of the Republic of Congo to Zaire and created a new flag for the country, shown here. He also declared all European names and Western things illegal, which greatly influenced day-to-day life for the citizens of the country. Over his 32 years, he and his friends robbed the country and took advantage of many resources. They made life for civilians awful, and under him, political corruption became widespread. The only reason Mobutu was able to rule for so long was because of the financial aid provided by the U.S. because of his resistance to communism. This photo shows him meeting with the then U.S. Secretary of Defense. But in 1991, all foreign countries cut off ties to Mobutu and pulled their citizens out of the country because he fired his newly acclaimed prime minister. 3 years later, in 1994, the Rwandan genocide began, and eventually the Hutus, who had been the main perpetrators of the genocide, fled to Zaire, causing an increase in violence there. Then, in 1996, Tutsi rebels, the group that was victorious in the Rwandan genocide, took control of Kinshasa, the capital of Zaire. The next year, in 1997, Laurent Désiré Kabila, shown above, overthrew Mobutu and became the new president. Under him, Zaire's name was officially changed to the Democratic Republic of Congo. A year later, troops from Rwanda and Uganda invaded in hopes of removing Kabila from power, but were stopped by countries that were allied with him.
In recent history, the efforts for peace between Rwanda and the DRC have failed. In 1999, the Lusaka Peace Accord was signed by Rwanda, the DRC, and other African nations. However, this Lusaka Peace Accord failed because the rebel groups just ignored what it said, even with the presence of 5,000 UN peacekeepers. In 2002, Laurent Kabila, who was a major role player towards peace, was murdered, so the efforts towards peace were halted. Then in 2002, Joseph Kabila, Laurent's son, reached peace agreements which were signed by Rwanda, DRC, and other African nations. However, the rebel groups once again ignored these agreements and remained in the DRC. Then, as another attempt to make peace, Jean-Pierre Bemba and Azarias Ruburwa, leaders of two main rebel groups in DRC, were sworn in as vice presidents in 2003. However, this came at a time of heightened fighting between the rebel groups, so it did not gain much traction among the people. In more recent years, meetings between Rwanda and DRC, which were administered by the UN, have failed because the DRC is accusing Rwanda of allowing the M23 rebel group to recruit citizens and supporting them with weapons. However, Rwanda says that there is no evidence of this and is extremely insulted by these claims. The meetings between these countries have now just become back and forth arguments leading nowhere, and that is where the conflict stands.